There's 3 rules here. Like, if you want to get invited to the next trip, do this. She's like, 1, be chill, be nice to everybody, don't start drama. 2, do not do drugs, they don't like drugs. And 3, do not hook up with anybody, because like once they fuck you, if they fuck you like on the first trip, there's no use for you anymore. Like, they don't want you anymore because now you're just gonna be a headache.
What is up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Chemical X podcast. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes because I have, Veronica and her sister on. So this is just fun for me. I'm here with, the usual Veronica.
What's up, guys? I'm Veronica. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below, rate us 5 stars. And like my partner Alejandra said over here, we got a very special guest. My sister.
Hi.
The very spoken about, shit talked about on this podcast. She's finally here to show her face.
Do you think she came on because now she's realizing we're going to be famous?
I think she's here because...
Why don't we just ask her?
Well, before she answers her lie answer, she's for sure here because last week somebody came up to her and said, hey, aren't you Veronica's sister, the one with a really good podcast? And I think at that point she was like, you know what? I got to start infiltrating this bitch.
They've been asking me to come on. Now's the time.
I was like, Tanya, how does it feel? You always thought you would be the famous sister, and here I am. Now you're just my sister.
She's
so
like,
welcome.
whoa.
Yeah. It's okay.
Introduce yourself.
We could all be famous.
You're allowed to speak on this podcast. It's a talking podcast. Her girl's in the corner mute.
Well, we have to pop champagne before anything.
Well, can she say hi? Introduce yourself. Say, what's your Insta? Let them know you're here. Like, the people on audio are going, where's the sister?
It took us 4 seasons to finally get you on because we've been asking you for a minute now.
I mean, you were one of the, everyone else said no, so we got you on. So,
So Alessia wanted me on. My sister did not want me to come on.
it's because you do a fake voice and you're doing it right now.
No.
This is my voice.
This is my voice.
This is my camera voice. So everybody
into this episode, and we'll review back if that was her voice. Because even me, I start every episode with my radio voice on, and 4 minutes later, I'm going, hit a bit, hey.
Okay, well, let me warm up. It's fine. I don't know.
We're
Well, no
popping
one
this
can
because
hear you
it's
right
season
now.
4. You're finally here. And you're not in LA, so we're going to grab you while we have you.
And we couldn't afford the big bottle, so you got the half. You got the.
Where did you
300
learn how
mils.
to open champagne so well?
I mean, I was a waitress for a while.
How many years? So you showed your sister the
Talk about
ropes?
how many years?
Yeah. Ask Border Patrol how many years. Apparently she still works in the clubs.
What do you do? A waitress.
Well, it's too funny when we were traveling. They're like, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a waitress, but the clubs have been closed for COVID. And they're like, so what do you do? Well, I work in the clubs when they're open and it's not COVID. Okay, so what do you do when the clubs are closed? Well, I'm a waitress. They've just been closed. Ma'am, secondary search. And I'm not going to lie, I would have done the same. Absolutely. You know what? Skip secondary, go straight to third.
I have to say, when you're jobless, going through customs just hits different. I'm sorry, it just hits different.
Literally the scariest thing.
Show me your last pay. Well, listen, I haven't been working.
And by the way, guys, every time I go through, I have a different job. I'm like, I'm a project manager for my dad's company. I'm a software engineering freelance.
They're going, wow, you really don't have a path in life.
I'm a waitress.
I'm an influencer. Every time I go through, I pull out a different one.
You're seeing which one works, and they've all not worked.
No, you know what? The software engineering freelance, that goes through smooth.
Well, you were in software engineer.
But
So
yeah.
guys, we know she has a brain. We know she has a brain. Beautiful.
Sometimes I look back on my life and I'm like, what went wrong? Like, why am I like fucked up and like funny? Because, I believe truly that you can only be funny if you have trauma. And then I'm like, oh, right. I grew up with my sister. And that's where I got all my character from. My abuse. I got the abuse from my sister.
For anyone listening, how many years are you guys apart?
We're 3 years apart. And we always, because of like the weird gap in age, we always were like, when we were going to school, we always went to the same schools, but it always so happened that we were never at the same school at the same time. It was very weird. Like, she was always like 2 grades above me, but always had like the senior or the junior and the hippity hey. But she still found her ways to abuse me. Oh my God, wait, is this an abuse trauma story?
Give us a story of her abusing you.
So guys, me and my sister have always had very different personalities. So it might not be obvious, but my sister is the shy one. Judging by how much she's spoken so far in this podcast.
Don't worry, a little bit of alcohol and she's good.
So the dangerous ones, I will say, are the quiet ones. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So my sister was very shy, and I think the lack of social skills, she just took out all her anger on me. So for example, just an example of how shy she was, she had a friend that was our next door neighbor. And when we were kids, she was so afraid to go knock on the neighbor's door and ask for the girl to come out and play with her. So she would force me to go. But then I would go ask the kid if she wanted to play with my sister, but I wasn't allowed to play with them. So I just had to go and say, Tanya wants to play with you. Do you want to also? And then she would say, yeah. And then I would say, okay, I'm going to go back inside now and you guys can go on your dates. No. 100%. I was not allowed to.
I wouldn't even ring the doorbell. I would make her push. I was too shy to push the button.
She would just stand in the back. And then they would go off and play and I would go back home. Yeah. Okay. So, and then she was also the biggest manipulator child. Okay. My sister was the type of person that would okay, cheers guys.
Cheers to finally doing this. Cheers. You have to look at someone in the eye when you cheers them.
Or else it's 7 years of bad sex.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, we were not willing to risk
We
that.
don't want any more bad sex in our life.
Okay. We can finally start this podcast.
Oh, nice warm champagne. Just how I like it.
Tastes like piss.
100%.
How do you know how piss tastes like?
100% as well. You know what? Fuck when people say that. Smells
Hang
like
on.
shit. How you know what shit smells like?
Well, I think Alessia knows what piss tastes like.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is not a podcast about me.
Does it sound like a Dubai? Have you guys? Okay, wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish my story, but after, just give you all a teaser. We're gonna talk about girls getting shit on in Dubai. Okay. Before we get there, we're gonna talk about the rest of my sister's abuse to me. So when I was a kid, my sister would slap me, and then I would start crying. And I would go to tell my mom because I was a fucking rat. Because every 5-year-old is a rat. So she would slap me and I would cry and I'd be like, Mommy. And then she would swarm in and be like, she hits me. And I would be like, no, she hit me. And she would be like, no, she hit me. And then guess who was believed? My sister.
Because she's the older one.
And guess who would go in timeout? Me. Guess who got slapped and got the timeout?
And me. And didn't get play date.
Didn't get shit. But she got abused. So my sister was the biggest liar, manipulator. Another story, just so that we can really sell your soul on here.
I thought I was supposed to look good on this podcast. You just
100%.
destroying
I'm just saying
my
you're
image.
a liar, a manipulator.
This is why she's
So just don't believe anything I say on this podcast because it's all gonna be a lie.
But you know what's weird though? How she was young and she's the total opposite now.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about Tanya is you want to know something, you ask her, she's always straight up. She's never gonna bullshit.
I don't know. My sister, when she wants to lie, she could lie her ass off.
Right, but I feel like if you're direct with her and you ask her something,
No, she's not. She's an honest
she's
person.
here. We should just ask her.
I'm a very open person
She's
about
open,
who I
but
am.
she might not be honest.
But sometimes I'm a liar.
100%. No, I'm saying if she needs
And
to lie about
if I need to
something,
lie,
she'll
I'm a
lie.
really good liar.
And also, she's calling up everyone to go in on her lie. This girl, that's another
Oh.
thing, never goes in alone.
Can I be honest?
It's like, babe,
She's brought me
I'm
in.
at work.
She's brought me in on lies and I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this though.
And then it starts falling down on you because now suddenly people are calling you and saying, it's like, you know what? I have my own shit to worry about.
No.
You want to lie? Make up your own story involving only you as a character.
And when you're covering up her lies, she's normally the one chilling on the couch and you're running the errands. You're doing all the shit.
Can I say?
And she's normally in another city.
Oh no, guys, my dad used to call me. This girl would fucking fly to Mexico, tell me I'm leaving for. She would only tell me I'm going to Mexico tomorrow. Don't tell anyone, okay? Puts me with the burden of keeping this secret. I'm the worst liar, and I've already talked about how I'm the
Literally
worst liar.
the worst liar ever.
Two
The
days
worst.
into her being gone, my dad's calling me. Where's your sister? She's here. Why hasn't her card moved in 2 days? Well, she slept at a friend's house. I think that's a lie. Where's your sister right now? I'm like, you know what? Call her. Call her. Well, she's not answering, so I'm
And then he
calling
calls
you.
me. What happens when you're in Mexico and the phone rings? It doesn't ring normal. It goes like beep, beep. So I answer the phone. He goes, where are you? I'm like, I'm home. Why is it beeping instead of ringing?
Guys, do you know how many messes I had? Like, and the thing is, she's unreachable, so they have no one to take their anger on but me. My dad still to this day calls me and tells me off for what my sister did. The other day, he called me and told me off for the phone bill, like the away charges. I'm like, hold on, I have a phone number I could redirect this to, and I'll tell you it's not mine. I'll tell you the girl you're actually looking for, and it's Tanya Rossi. Why am I getting this?
He's never told me off about phone charges ever
I've
in my
been
life.
told off my whole life for this girl.
And by the way, I'm never in town, so every month he's getting those
100%.
those $10 a day charges.
And I'll tell you who's getting the calls for them. The manager. Literally the manager.
This is why I need to be famous. Like, I need a manager to like, deal with my shit.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting paid for this role. I didn't sign up for it. I have enough jobs here. Thank you. I just have no choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very like, you better do this.
Yeah.
So
how do we
what-
spin off this now that we started?
What I wanted to start talking about is how girls get shit on in Dubai.
Oh, let's go.
And I just feel like it's very on brand for you about all the things we're about to talk about.
Is it?
Taking trips and guys paying trips.
Okay,
so I
nobody's ever shit on me, and I've never been to Dubai. Just so we clarify that.
So if you want to take her to Dubai, she might allow the shit.
Well, she already said Alessia knows how piss tastes like, so we don't know what your expertise is here. So, have you guys heard that apparently this has been happening for a while, but girls are getting like paid to go to trips in Dubai, and like the only thing that they ask for is like to do all these fetishes, and they're like shitting in their mouths.
Oh God,
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that.
I don't think so either.
Even for like,
I mean, you know what? I'm actually gonna lock in my answer. What I can't like.
Veronica,
I don't think, like, I-
guys, I'm very like money driven, and I think even if you offered me like 5 million, I would not do it.
5 million
is a
Yeah,
sum
you
of
really
money.
look at a number that I'm gonna be honest.
Look who's gonna be getting an email next week.
100%.
5 million.
Sweetheart, I saw your podcast. I don't know what accent this is.
So I actually got a fucking weird email about 2 months ago.
So you know what shit tastes like.
So I got an email about like 2 months ago, and it was something like, do you want to come and be a hostess in Miami? We're doing this like underground poker party, and you would just be like hosting in a bikini and like just bringing just like rich people all around the world that are coming to town, and they're going to be playing poker, and they just want like hot girls there, and they're just going to ask you to like host and like bring them to the table. You don't have to do anything. And he was like just that night alone, you're gonna make like $15,000. All you have to do is host.
15,000?
Tanya's like, let's go. Hello,
I didn't get that email.
You're like, you didn't put that.
Tanya's like, I get every email. Why didn't I get that?
Yeah,
one?
we always get the same emails. So.
I know we always get the same emails.
Did you get the one from actually Dubai? A prince wanted to party with me on a yacht in Dubai for like
that's the shitting.
For like 20K.
Yeah, that's the shitting.
No way.
No.
Yeah, you got scouted to get shit on. You have to like talk to them and then be like, okay, what do I have to do? And then it's gonna be like, well, the prince.
And he
likes
said I could bring a
specific things,
friend or
fetishes.
whatever. Yeah.
Yes, that's the.
Wait,
that's the
No
one.
way. He
Well,
wanted me to.
you're
They
gonna
just
get
wanted
shit
me to
on.
go on a yacht and party with the prince
It's
for
the
20K,
shit.
and I didn't believe it. I actually never. I answered at first, and then I was actually in LA and I was with my friend, and he was like, "This is a scam," like whatever. And then I never ended up answering the second email, but he was like, "Yes, he wants you to just tell us like if you're ready, we will pay for your hotel and pay for your flights,
It's the shitting.
and you could bring a friend."
Shitting.
Oh my
They were gonna
god.
shit over
Wild.
you.
20K is not
Which is
enough.
crazy because now it's like, well,
But
I'm
they
not
told
going
me-
to Dubai. I'm not
they
going to
told
Dubai
me-
just because now.
No, sorry. Wait. No, it was 200K. Sorry, 200K.
Okay, well,
K.
now you're getting fucking shit in your blood.
Okay, it was
veins.
200K, but they said
let's go.
no. They said just to chill with him 200K, and then there was like some other like, but if he likes you, blah blah blah.
If he likes you, shit down your throat.
Fuck, I hope he
Well,
doesn't
for
like me.
200K, like
I'm not your type, I swear.
You know
I'll-
what?
I'll take the 200 and
for him
I'm
not
good.
to like me. Yeah, literally.
She's gonna be removing all her makeup when she shows
are we
up.
going?
200K for a prince to see if he likes you. I don't think anyone listening is saying they're not going.
Okay.
Guys, I
Cheers to
promise
that.
you,
I'll answer the email tomorrow.
this is the shitting thing. So if you guys want to go get shit on and talk about it on the podcast after, I'm
Honestly,
so for
I
it.
get shit on every day on this podcast. Every day.
I think it's the shit in my mouth that I'm not okay with.
So on your body, it's okay?
I mean, it's better than the mouth.
Oh, 100%.
The
Like
mouth
on the
is
body, I
like
could
cut,
do.
cut.
Fuck.
The mouth I can.
100%.
But also, I
What do
need
you
to know
do
what's
with-
the
wait,
consistency.
wait.
Am I I chewing? Am I just swallowing? Is
I
it
have
like
so many questions. What kind of caca is it?
That's what I'm saying. Also, can I
Do I
spit
need
it
to
out or do I
swallow?
gotta swallow?
What did you eat the day before?
Actually, let me give you a list of the only things
But
you're
you know
allowed
what?
to eat.
Somebody tells me if they've only
It's
drank
nothing.
water even for 5 days, I don't even want that kind of caca.
That's like they're getting the rim of the intestines. Like they're just cleaning it all out.
Ew, I'm so disgusted.
Anyways, well, I got scouted apparently.
What the fuck?
Look at that.
She's
What
all
is it
happy.
about your
She's like, oh my god, she's proud. She's like, well, I got scouted. I didn't do it, but they did want me to get
Well,
shit
I never
on.
answered. I didn't answer. I'm gonna answer though.
wanted me.
The prince.
They chose me.
Requested
They thought
me.
I was shittable on.
Anyway, guys, I want you to know of all this, that whole like email I got. I obviously answered because I'm like, I'm a hostess on this podcast for $0 and it's 3 years we're doing this. If I can be a hostess for one night in Miami
So what if I have to show my
to
nips?
bring people to a table, I will absolutely do it. I don't think anyone wouldn't do it. So I was like, okay, I'm like, let me hear more information. We got on the phone and it started going sour after that. He was like, if you don't feel comfortable, then you can get a security guard to come with you and follow you everywhere. If you don't feel like, you'll be safe. No, I'm like, wait, why wouldn't I be safe? He's like, if you choose to get a security, like we'll pay for it and everything.
Well, that's fun.
And then I was
My
like, and
sister
then,
is the most like,
but
like
the thing is,
flammable
I
person
didn't
in
even
this
think of
world.
security before he said I could have security. And then I was
Yeah.
concerned
Yeah.
because I'm like, why would I need security?
I mean, I think in this
Is
world,
that the only red flag?
There
was a couple of
There
theirs.
was
Okay.
there was a little.
Checking.
There was more if anybody wants to know.
Because I'll take the security guard.
It was just weird because after that he was like, you can have security, and then he said there's another one in Dubai, there's another poker game here, and then if a guy likes you, he can take you out and he can bring you around, and you have to go everywhere he wants to go the weekend. Which, like, I just want to be the hostess. I'm okay with being the hostess and then calling it a day.
if you need to pay me half, $7,000, that's fine.
I'm okay with 7K.
I'm okay. You know what? I'll take the $7,000. Can we talk about how if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is? And I'm
Yep.
not talking like people.
Well, you
think,
just told me the 200K Prince thing is real.
She's
yeah,
answering
to get
that in
shit
your-
on, Tanya. Like,
No, they
I don't
said
know.
just to chill, and then if he likes me,
yeah, they're not gonna say and get feces on in the first sentence. They're always gonna rope you in, and then
They're gonna get you there, and then they're gonna say, "Come on."
Well,
One-
by the way, also these are the fetishes you have to provide for, but that's who cares? You're already into it at that point. Anyways, my point is that if it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. But I feel like we're gonna talk about a lot of circumstances that seem too good to be true for you, but they actually were true.
well, I think that's why
Well, this is
that's
the
why I
plan.
actually believe these things, because so many times like things have happened. I'm like, no, this is too good to be true, but
Right.
it's actually it works out for me.
yeah,
so.
was
Yeah.
it through an email? Probably not. You probably didn't get it through an email.
I'm trying
I
to
was
think
with-
if I ever got anything
I
through
was
an
with
email
my
that
gay
worked
best
out.
friend when I was getting that story about being the hostess. And I'm going to be real. I passed an AirPod and I said, listen. And he's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I was like, Alette, bring yourself back to reality. Like, this is...
I think there definitely are people out there that are gonna pay you like to do shit like that.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of guys and people who will just pay to have
Yeah.
your presence. That's escorting.
100%.
That's just escorting. Doesn't mean you're sleeping with them or whatever. But it just sounded too good to be true.
there's certain circumstances that you need to like, I guess, meet somebody in or something like that for it to get to that point. Like, yeah, there is people out there that are gonna want to pay you to come on trips and shit. But like, is it through fucking gmail.com? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the Prince.
Tanya.
Tanya has it with this prince.
Well, this girl
You
sends me
engrave?
emails every week, and it's like so obviously fake. One time she's sending me on WhatsApp. That's like the fucking only
And then,
drug dealers.
that fucking girl started bullying me after I said I wasn't down.
Yeah, and she's like, "Do you think it's real?" The girl's saying, "Well, you're missing out.
She's like, this is me on a private jet. You could be here.
I'm like, Tanya, I promise you that girl's a catfish, fake, and
Like
she's gonna
two weeks later after I stopped talking to her, I said I'm not down for this. She's coming in. This is the Birkin I just got. Could have been you. Ha ha, loser. I'm like, leave me alone.
You're like, but wait, am I a loser?
So I feel like a lot of people know you they don't really
For
know
being
you that
Veronica's
well.
sister?
Yeah,
I
for
feel like
being
nobody really knows me, actually.
I feel like nobody
It's
really knows
true.
you, but I feel like if they do know you for one thing, it's the girl who's always on a trip. So I think we should, unpack that a little bit. So like, how did you come to be this person who's jet set?
I feel like
Jet set.
the way we're asking this is so like she's not a human.
I know. I feel
like what the fuck? How did you become a girl who likes a vacation?
yeah, like what?
Guys, who's listening who doesn't want a vacation?
I think that's not the word you're looking for. Maybe
Who's
like
just, like,
a couple
maybe
more.
like
Spontaneous.
spontaneous. I'm the kind of girl where
I don't think people talk about you and say she's spontaneous. I really don't think that's what people are saying behind your back. Tanya Rossi, she's so spontaneous.
but that's what I am.
That girl, she'll just leave one day to the next. Spontaneity.
You love it, I'm dying.
But I feel like if anybody's looking for a friend, like who are they gonna call me? Because
So-
I'm always like ready to go.
Yes, you are. You're that down bitch. But I'm saying like people know you. Like I feel like people
Yeah.
look at your Instagram and they're like, how is this bitch always on a trip? Like,
Yeah.
what's your life? What do you do? So let's give some insight. Let's give the
Yeah.
people
Yes.
what they want to know.
Okay.
I feel like the first thing is nobody actually knows you're a brain. So
Yeah.
let's start there.
Where do we want to start? That I'm a brain or that I'm a jet setter?
They both go together. To be on that jet set life, you gotta have a brain
Absolutely.
you gotta give good brain.
or a good butt.
Know how to act the part too. Act a little dumb. No. Cut that out.
No. You see, the thing about Tanya is she knows how to like act dumb when it works for her, which is a really good quality to have when you want to feel like the man is in power.
Well, I feel like
and-
I really know how to like alter my character to suit who I'm around.
Duh, you're an Aquarius.
Manipulation.
Well,
She's
it's
like,
an
I
Aquarius
feel like
thing.
I really know how to manipulate the people around me just by like pretending that I'm somebody that I'm not.
It's
We're
not
like
pretending that I'm
Aquarius.
somebody that I'm not. It's showing different sides of my personality to the like if
Yes.
I'm with people who like to be around
Malleable.
people that are like very smart, like I'll act very smart. If I'm around people that just want that girl who's dumb in the corner, I'll be like, ha ha ha. Where's my drink?
Where's my drink?
An adaptable personality.
Yeah,
Adaptable
but they're all
personality.
like parts of my personality that I
the-
just show
The
at different
therapist
times.
watching is going, that's not the word I would use. Not adaptable personality. Personality
back.
disorder.
Tanya, that girl Tanya, she has such an adaptable personality and she's so spontaneous. We'll find
well.
new characteristics as we go.
So like, don't answer on the question. Let us know about you. How, like I said, what's your vibes? So for people that don't know, you studied software engineering.
I
feel like that's a
I actually
shocker.
studied mechanical engineering first. 3 years in, I did an internship and decided that I didn't really love it, even though I was good at it. So I switched.
Flex.
Have to say
Even
I
though
had
good at it.
I had a 4.0 GPA. Just so we put that out there. I'm smart. Thanks. Okay, that's all. And then I switched into software engineering, and I decided I don't really like that either. So, we're still figuring it out.
Do you feel like that's a shocker?
influencer?
Is it a shocker?
Like, I feel like when people find that out about you, they're always like, what the fuck? I thought you were
Yeah,
dumb.
100%. Everyone's like, you're not a software engineer.
Yeah.
But I am.
How's
But
your,
why is the perception that she's dumb?
I think just because you're pretty, people like assume you can only be pretty or smart.
Well, I feel like I kind of act dumb too, though.
Yeah.
And I worked in clubs, so people don't really view, like, if you're a waitress, like, there's, like, a certain, like, stigma that goes around being a waitress, that you're usually, like, dumb and you're not going anywhere in life. So people are really surprised.
No,
when
but
I
it's
say that.
actually true. I feel like nobody like, yes, and then they also
And
feel
it's
like
not
they-
true. Like, I know so many smart waitresses that
Yeah,
are studying really
100%.
cool things.
I actually
and we're
think
just
to
like,
be a waitress, you can't be dumb. There's a
I
lot
mean,
of things happening
I
in
think
a club.
any job,
you need to
could be a
have
fucking idiot. I think waitressing is definitely an easier job, but also I think a lot of girls.
I wouldn't say it's an easy job,
it's
but
not an easy job, and you have to deal with different kind of people. You have to have an adaptable personality.
yeah.
Yes, but I'm saying it's not like
You have to multitask.
It's not mathematically like challenging in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying like it doesn't take like something. It takes a certain type of personality, and that's why I think people like automatically assume that you're dumb because you're just like the party and you're flirty and you're fun and you're bubbly.
But I also feel like since I'm a kid, I've always, and like when I was a kid, I wasn't that cute. So just so we put that out there. But even when I was a kid, like people would be surprised when I'd say like, oh yeah, I'm in high math. People would be like, no, you're not in high math. Like you're dumb. And it's just like the way I think my personality comes off, that I'm very like airhead. And I think that, as my sister said, I was like a really shy kid. So I think being an airhead kind of was my way of like hiding that I was shy. It was kind of the personality that I just adopted, and then people just assumed that I was really dumb by the way I would talk and carry myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So dumb and spontaneous. That's what they're saying behind your back.
And one more.
Yeah,
Added in,
absolutely.
Veronica. Jet set.
And then do you feel like, sometimes I feel like low key, tell me if this is you, I feel like people, and I feel like even I'm like this, is you almost want to like prove that you're smart. So you like go and do something like study software engineering just to like fuck off, like say
Yeah.
fuck you, like I am smart, but then you're like, wait, I actually don't like this.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know what I
like that's probably the motivation behind what I studied.
Yeah. Like just to say like,
And it's like, and I don't like to not do well. So I'm that girl who's, like I said, I had a 4.0 GPA. And at the beginning, when I started studying in mechanical engineering, nobody wanted to do projects with me. And then they saw that I was getting the highest grades in the class. And then everybody like wanted to be with me in every single project. But, you know.
and I also remember you really had trouble finding an internship.
Yeah.
Like there was guys.
But
walking-
that's a different issue. I feel like in mechanical, it's a really male dominated field. We were 4 girls in my whole program. So as soon as you're a girl, it's just automatically harder to find an internship. Nobody wants to take you seriously. And then when you do go work in it, like because it's all men and they're all used to working with men, they don't know how to talk to you. So my boss would be like, he'd come into my office and be like, hey, like if you're not too busy, like if you feel like it, you could do this. And I'm like, you're my boss. Like, tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to act around you.
Right.
And that's what she realized it. She wanted a man. Tell me what to do. Shit in your mouth? Okay.
200K? Okay.
Tell me what to do, daddy.
So do you feel like you're kind of done with that like area of your life? Because I feel like it's not something you're passionate about. I feel like it was more like
But
the
it's like good
flex
to have, and like you could see, you never know in the future.
Yeah.
It's like a good degree to have, but I think that, yeah, I don't think that I'm heading there in that direction. So I don't really, yeah, I think I'm done with it, honestly.
Perfect. So like software engineering, the smart life is not working out for you. And like you don't seem to be sad about it. You seem to be living your best life, which
Yeah.
we can always count on you to do. So what do you feel like the change of like trying like this shy, trying to be smart, low key person to becoming like super, I don't want to say outgoing, but like doing shit that's very out there. Like your personality is not necessarily outgoing, but you do a lot of stuff that's like other people look at it and say like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So like, how do you feel like you became that person of being the girl who was forcing me to knock on doors for you?
Well, the shyness, I think, kind of went away like when I started high school. I got a little bit prettier and people wanted to hang out with me. And
It's the sad truth.
yeah, and then I started to realize like also like our stepdad was like super helpful. He would like force me to do things that would get me kind of out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
So I really kind of forced myself to get out there and stop being as shy. So I think that's kind of when that started to change. But then I was still kind of the person who was more reserved and not doing stuff.
I think like I really saw a big, like I find you really, your personality changed when you started, when you like became old enough and you got your first club job. I feel like that's when you really became like a different person.
Like the
You're
jet
like,
set.
okay,
Like, well, like jet setting, you
I
mean?
don't
Like
even
ready
mean
to
jet
go
set.
all the
I just
time.
mean like your whole personality became like really more in tune. Like you were really more like out there and you were always meeting people. And then like that's when
Yeah.
you started like making all these connections and then started going on trips. And you
Yeah.
just really became like I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
Yeah.
Because we came from a small town and like at the
And,
time
yeah.
working in a club is like being a hooker. Like it
Well,
was like,
well,
what the fuck? You
and we
know?
have like an Italian family.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't even think, I think it was
Well,
really
they
small.
were like nobody.
Yeah.
They were like judging me so hard when I started working in a club.
Yeah, like I feel like for them it was like, oh my god, you're selling
Yeah.
your body kind of thing. And my sister was always like, I don't give a fuck. So like I feel like how did you become that person? Whereas I feel like you were more self-conscious before.
When I was 17, I dated this guy for 3 years, and
Did
it
you
was
guys
like
start dating at 17? Or you started dating younger?
we
can't
started
remember.
dating. I think I was 17 when we started
Okay.
dating. I think it was my birthday actually. My 17th birthday is when we like got together. So I started dating this guy. We dated for 3 years, and it was like a really toxic, controlling relationship. He was like a bit psycho.
A bit?
A psycho.
A bit,
Like
a
the
psycho.
a fucking like sometimes I would look at him and his eyes would just change and I was like, okay, like psycho. just came out.
Do you remember when we were hiding behind? So at one point we were like,
Oh my God, I
home
remember
alone.
this.
Yeah.
You told me this.
Oh yeah, we were hiding behind the
and
counter.
My sister was like, I don't remember what you said.
Yeah, he'd show up at our house.
He'd show up at our house like just to check if she
he
was
used
there.
He used to drive by my house at night to make sure that my car was in the driveway.
Yeah. So this was one of the times where I guess she didn't answer him fast enough or something, and he showed up at the house.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't remember why, but you were like, we need to hide from him. So we were hiding in my kitchen, and he was banging on the door, ringing the doorbell. He came to the back door, banging on the door, and I think we hid for like a legit hour.
Yeah, and he was
in
like
the
banging
kitchen,
on all the
and he
doors,
wouldn't
going
leave,
around
and
the
I was
house.
like, you're a psycho.
Yeah, like psychotic.
No, like
and how long
textbook
did
psycho.
And
how long
like
did you guys date
emotionally abusive.
Yeah.
Sorry?
How long did you guys date for?
So 3 years. And this whole time he was like very emotionally abusive. I wasn't allowed to really do anything. And he was obviously out doing whatever the fuck he wanted.
And he also, I don't know if this had any effect on the relationship, but he had cancer twice.
Yeah. So 1 year into the relationship, he got diagnosed with cancer. And obviously that also had like a big effect on the relationship, because not only was he already super controlling at the beginning, now he had cancer, he was doing chemo, so he couldn't do anything. And like he kind of put it on me to like have to take care of him. Like I would drive him to all his chemo appointments, and then after he'd be like out for like 3 days like sleeping, and I'd have to stay with him in his like basement bedroom and like sleep next to him for like 3 whole days till he felt better. And so like that was really my life, just like going to school. And I actually dropped out of school for a semester to actually take care of him.
That's crazy. I feel like that'll make you grow up quickly.
Yeah, I think it really made me grow up and realize like who the fuck I am, and that I never want to be in that situation again.
For sure. Especially when it's not only controlling, but you also feel like you have to take care of this person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a certain guilt, like
Yeah.
when somebody's a bad person to you, but they have like something like that, like cancer or something.
Yeah.
You almost feel like, okay, well, I have to kind of be there for you, and which is the fucked up
And like
thing, you
the
know?
thing
Like,
is, 1 year into the relationship, like obviously I knew he was a psycho. I was breaking up with him. We actually broke up, and then he got diagnosed with cancer, and then I obviously got back with him and took care of him for another whole year. Then he was in like he got better, but he didn't want to tell anyone he was better. So it was like this really like toxic, and I wasn't allowed to do anything. And by the end of it, like I was so fed up by the end that I would like actually like sneak out and do like really like I'd like have to like leave my car at my friend's house and tell them I was sleeping there, and then I'd sneak out to go out downtown with my friends. Like it was like just a really crazy toxic relationship. So I think when I finally ended that is when I was like, okay, I'm never gonna be like controlled like that again. Nobody's ever gonna tell me what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
So at that moment is when like I started working in clubs, and I was like, I'm gonna live my life to the fullest, because I felt like I had literally lost like 3 years of my life just being like trapped and not able to do anything. So definitely now when someone tells me like you can't do this, like I promise you I'm gonna
triggered,
do it.
yeah.
Like it
for
triggers
sure.
me. Like don't ever tell me not to do something, because I'll do it times 10.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
For sure, coming from like a place where you were so, I mean, you know, it's a trauma we could heal. It's a trauma we could heal, but it's there.
I feel like it didn't actually make me a bad person. I feel
No.
like I'm happy.
If anything, it
I'm
made
actually
you more like,
yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Standing
I'm
your
going to do what I
ground.
want.
I'm actually like, you have to always be grateful for all the things that happen in your life, like good or bad. You always have to take like the lesson you learned from it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I'm grateful for this relationship and for everything I learned from it, because it really
Shaped.
shaped me, and it really helped me realize at an early age who I was.
Yeah.
And I feel like people struggle their whole life to really accept themselves and find out who they are personally. And I feel like that just really pushed me to do it at such an early age, and not have to spend my whole life searching like, who am I? Like I really was like, this is me, and nobody's going to tell me not to be me.
I think even some people, when they get out of a relationship like that, the opposite happens.
Yeah.
Like they go the other way. So like it's actually really good that you came out in a positive way.
Yeah, normally people will just keep dating people who are going to be mentally
Yeah,
abusive,
'cause
or
that's what they're used
that's what
to.
they're used to. That's
Yeah.
what they think is love, and it's hard to be in something healthy after that.
I mean,
100%.
I
So how's
wouldn't
your
say
healthy
that.
relationships
Yeah, I
going?
wouldn't say that my relationships after that were exactly healthy, but they were definitely an
Different.
upgrade.
A different. Yeah.
Different.
Let's just say different.
Different.
They
So
weren't banging at the front door. They were still calling you a million times. They just weren't banging.
So then after that, you kind of did 360. You started working in clubs. Like you were just totally.
You were that
being-
bitch.
Yeah.
You were that bitch. And what was that like, just being somebody working in the clubs, working in the nightlife? I feel like it's something that a lot of people wish they could do, but they never take the chance to do it because they're afraid of like being judged or something.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I definitely feel like also what?
I said motivational. She's like, no, me, I loved.
I really had fun working in clubs. I think that also like really shaped my personality and helped me.
We also met a lot of people.
Yeah,
too.
I met a lot of people. I made a lot of connections. Like, it's definitely not something I regret at all. And if I had to do it over again, I would.
And I think also when you take the stand to be like, okay, like I'll do that trip, I'll go see like the connections I can make. I feel like it opens your eyes to a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
And then it's hard after that to like go back and be like, go the other way.
Yeah.
Never settle for less when I'm like used to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But for me, I think every opportunity you take always opens up new opportunities. So it's kind of cheesy to say, but I used to watch Gossip Girl when I was younger. And there's this one episode where Chuck Bass, he's...
Oh my God, you've used this manipulation on me. I'm freaking out right now.
So Chuck Bass is like my favorite character, obviously. Damaged, whatever. Such a cutie.
Rich.
I love him. So there's this one episode where basically he's like on a yacht and he's talking to the other guy, Nate, and he looks at Nate and he's like, so basically like I'm on this new thing and it's that I say yes to everything. So every opportunity or every time somebody asks me something, I just say yes and I take the opportunity.
Guys.
And like that really like stuck with me.
I've
and
said
I feel
no to
like
her once and she pulled out that thing. And let me tell you, I said, you know what, maybe I should go. Maybe I should go. I should say yes.
But it's because when you say yes and you open yourself up to these things, like
And you're getting shit on in Dubai. At what point you stop saying
No,
yes?
but it's honestly true in every part of life. Like, you want that perfect guy, but you won't leave your house.
Yeah.
You're not gonna meet him. You want to go on a trip. You want that lifestyle, but you're not leaving your house. Like, there's a lot of things that will stop you from getting what you want if you're not.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too extreme, and like sometimes I need to
wheel it in.
like
I feel
wheel
like
it in
being
and
yes
calm
man
down
is
a little.
Phase, though. Like, I feel like you can do it for a certain amount of time, and at some point you need to be like, okay, I'm gonna choose more wisely now.
Well, like,
but in the beginning, you just need to be like yes to life.
Yeah.
You know?
Until you start seeing like your opportunities and which path you want to take. You know, you have to be careful to not get.
I think at the beginning you don't know you can say yes to everything because you don't know you have all these opportunities.
Right.
And then when you start getting used to it, you're like, wow, I have all these options. Now I could start like kind of dissecting and picking which ones I want to do because I know that the doors are open.
Right.
So it kind of changes.
And the more you say yes, the more opportunities come, and then the more opportunities there is, the more you can like pick which one you want.
Well, it's like the whole like the secret and the manifesting thing. Like as soon as you open yourself up to being receptive to opportunities and stuff, like they will come. Yeah. If you're closed off and you're like, this is not going to happen for me, it's not going to happen.
So then how did you get to guys paying your trips?
Here we go.
Like, I feel like that's the big question everybody wants to know, how you're always on trips. Guys pay for them? Why?
I mean, it's not always guys who pay for them.
Okay. So 95% of the time guys
She's like, I'm your sister. We grew up together.
Wait, no, it's not always guys who pay for them. Like we're exaggerating now, but yes, at the beginning when I first started going on these like crazy, like I would be on these, I was like 20 years old, getting on flights every weekend and being on like crazy yachts and staying in like these mansions in Mexico and bringing all my friends and like
really making it sound like it's every trip now.
No, I'm saying like that's how like you're talking about those trips. Obviously, about 7 girls, we had our own mansion
and
just for us.
And why was that? Like, who was taking you there?
So I met this guy when I was 20, fresh out of my toxic relationship, and I was going out and doing things and saying yes to everything, and I was actually in a yacht in Montreal, so like not really a yacht.
In the sewers.
A small boat.
She was like, let's
call it a motorboat.
Yeah. She was like, I was on the little buoy, you know, like in the middle of the river.
No, we went on this boat, and I met a guy on that boat. It was him and his friends that kind of got the boat, and we just had a good time. Everybody was vibing. We were dancing. We were partying. And like, that's just my personality, to be like out there and having fun. And at the end of it, they were like, we're doing a trip for Halloween. We're going to Bahamas. Like, do you want to come? Like, you're a vibe. Do you want to come? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah. But at this point, like, this is my first time ever experiencing this. So I don't think this guy's serious. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I'll come. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll message you, let you know. 1 week later, I get the text message, hey, do you still want to come to Bahamas for Halloween? Bring your friend. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. So my friend who was with me on that boat, she came too, flew out to the Bahamas. We get there, there's like 30 other girls staying in this mansion, and they're like 7 guys. And it was the craziest trip ever. A lot of fun vibes. No, I did not hook up with anybody. But I made a lot of good friends, and I actually found that I was like pretty quiet. Like all the girls, like these guys are obviously all billionaires, and the girls are literally like fighting over them, right? Because they all want to be with
And
these.
they were also
You're
young,
like,
by the way.
They're young. They're
yeah.
young. They're good looking, and they're billionaires. Like
You're like, perfect. I could tan and all
Yeah.
these girls are
You guys,
fighting me.
you got it?
Yeah,
Good? 7
absolutely.
guys. If there's a rotation of 30 girls, I could just tan all
Every
weekend.
dick's being sucked, and I don't gotta do any sucking.
Absolutely.
But let me tell
and
you
that
who
was
they're looking at. The girl who's all worried on the
guys,
teddy
I was
chair.
like a prude. Like I wasn't even that girl who was I didn't hook up with people. So for me, I was like, oh my god, like I'm not hooking up with anybody. Yeah. So I go and I'm like, I'm happy, literally tanning, all super quiet in my corner, not bothering anybody. And these girls are going crazy, jumping naked in the pool. I'm like, I'm not getting naked in this pool. Like I was just chilling on the chair the whole time. So at the end of this like 3-day weekend in the Bahamas, I'm like, hey, I was so boring. Like they're never gonna invite me back. And
lo and
lo and behold, they did. They were like, you were so chill. We love your vibe. Like you, I guess because I wasn't throwing myself at people and I was just there having a good time, being nice to everybody. Like I was nice with all the girls. I was nice with the assistant. And she's the one who really liked me at the beginning. So they had this one assistant who like planned all their trips. And she just like really liked me because I was easygoing and nice. And so she invited me to the next trip.
And then
And
the
what
one
do you
after
think-
that.
And the one after that.
And
And
then
then,
the
she
one after
invited
that.
me and 7 friends to Mexico.
What do you think is like the gain for guys? Because I feel like a lot of people have this idea of like, which to an extent is true, like oh you're not, nothing is free in life,
Yeah, of
like
course.
you have to give something, and like
Absolutely.
oh these girls, they're all going to fuck, and like I said, these girls are getting shit on in Dubai, which to sometimes
Yeah.
it's true, and 100%
Yeah.
nothing is free in life, but like for them the transaction was not necessarily like hooking up.
Yeah. So I think you have to like feel out every situation. And yes, there's those situations where like the guy's going to expect you to hook up if he gives you something. But I feel like I'm never attracted to those situations because you don't want someone who's like, yeah, I'm going to fly you out, but you have to hook up with me.
Yeah.
Like that's not my vibe. I'm not going to have fun. So the only reason why I had a lot of fun with them and I kept going on different trips is because like it wasn't that. It was more that they just wanted to be surrounded by like pretty girls, have a good time, people that know how to party, and they're just out there to have a good time and let loose. Like they're not in shortage of women, you know, like
Right.
the women are throwing themselves at them.
Right.
They
So-
just want good vibes,
Good
and people
vibes.
that are available, which I think
100%.
is something
Yeah.
That gets
now that I
so
got older.
overlooked though.
Even-
when I
because
got
it's
older, I
actually
realized
so
like
hard sometimes to find
Yeah.
people who are just good vibes. There's a lot of girls who go on trips, they start shit, they're like
Yeah,
it's,
like-
it's
and-
even hard for guys to invite girls and to hope everything goes smoothly because not
Well-
every girl gets along. Who's gonna start a fight?
and
like,
it's also
when they
like
see a
who's
girl-
available, who could just leave on a trip tomorrow.
Well, that's the
you know?
thing.
Like,
Actually, they liked me. So we'll get into that in a bit. But I wanted to say one thing, touch on that, is like when I got there on that first trip, okay? So one girl that had been on a previous trip with them, she's like, okay, I just need to tell you something. Like, I like your vibe. There's 3 rules here. Like, if you want to get invited to the next trip, do this. She's like, 1, be chill, be nice to everybody. Don't start drama. 2, do not do drugs. They don't like drugs. And 3, do not hook up with anybody because like once they fuck you, if they fuck you like on the first trip,
then
they're like there's no use for you anymore. Like they don't want you anymore because now you're just gonna be a headache,
yeah.
right? And I was like, hey, I'm not hooking up with them either way. And like the rest was like, I don't do drugs, and of course I'm chill with everybody. So, but that really made me also learn something about life. Like when she told me those 3 things, I feel like I carry that with me in all the experiences I do in the future, because if you hold yourself to that, like people like to be around chill people. People don't like if you fuck somebody
like,
right
don't do
away, like
drugs.
you're not getting invited back because
Yeah.
they got what they wanted from you way too easily.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to act like you're worth
What were
something.
we saying before?
If you get the milk for free, why would you buy the cow?
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, like there is an exchange going on. It's
Yeah.
just like the idea that they just want.
It's just
cool,
the
chill
exchange is
people.
just not always sex.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I think
Well,
people don't realize. You
Well,
know?
I think the exchange is usually not sex. People that are actually like very wealthy and like with that lifestyle, they don't really want sex. They just want somebody who's fun to be around, or they just want your like time and respect. So like a lot of
Yeah.
these people, you know, like someone will invite me somewhere, and like you just have to know that if somebody's inviting you somewhere and you're going somewhere with that person and they're taking care of the stuff,
You have to respect them.
you have to respect them. You have to give them like your time, like you're there with them, so you're respecting them, you're giving your time. But that doesn't mean that I have to have sex with you. Like you're not paying me for sex. Like this is not what it is.
Yeah.
And you have to make that really clear. Like I actually had a guy who took me on a trip once. He's from Montreal, and he like begged me to go on this trip with him. And so he took me on a date in Montreal, and I wasn't really vibing with him. And then he was like, I want to take you to Miami. Please come with me this weekend. It was like some sort of like Lamborghini race weekend. Like, please come with me. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't think I'm going to come, because I wasn't vibing with him. And he just kept asking me and asking me. And then I had this one friend who like broke up with her boyfriend, and she's like, Tanya, like I really need a trip. Like, let's go with that guy. Please. So I'm like, okay, for you, like whatever, we'll go. If you're coming with me, I don't really mind.
You're hooking up with a guy and he has hairy balls. Tanya, how do you like your balls?
I like my balls clean so I can lick them.
And guys, how do we get clean balls? There's only one solution, and the solution is Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in below the waist grooming. They have literally every product that you need to have some nice, slippery, smooth balls that are very lickable. So they have the Lawnmower 4.0 to shave those pesky hairs. You got the ball deodorant, ball toner. Didn't even know that exists, but now you know. And now you cannot say no. So you need to go to manscaped.com and get yourself everything you need to be ready for summer.
If you guys want Tanya to be licking your balls this summer, use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off and free shipping, and a cute blondie
Comes along with free gift with purchase.
Free gift with purchase.
Guys, nothing is sexier than a guy in a suit, but only if the suit fits him properly. And even better if it's Italian made. And you know what? That's why you gotta go on to isotti.com. Check them out, because they make bespoke, tailor-made suits literally for your body. It's gonna hug every single curve, every single dad pouch that you have, maybe the extra tits that you got on, but it's okay. It's gonna fit you. It's gonna hug you. It's gonna look amazing.
My favorite.
My favorite. See, guys, there's a guy for everyone, okay?
Yeah. Guys, Chemical X at checkout for 20% off your man's first suit. If you're a girl and you're looking to buy a suit for your man, this is the perfect opportunity to take all his measurements when he's sleeping. Guys, Chemical X at checkout for 20% off.
We're going to have our separate bedroom. He's like, yeah, you'll have your own bedroom with your friend, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come. Well, that friend, who we're not friends with anymore, the day of the trip is like, I lost my passport. Oh my God, babe, I'm not going to make it. Like, this bitch did not lose her passport, by the way. She basically fucked me over. And I'm not a bitch. Like, I promised this guy I was going to go with him. He booked me and my friends tickets and everything.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, well, I'm not going to screw the guy over and also not go, even though I didn't want to go on a trip alone with him. So I went to be respectful. The first day we get there, we go for a drink, and like we're having a drink. Literally first day, he looks at me. He's like, wow, I can't wait to go back to the room and fuck you. I looked at him.
You wanted to die.
I looked at him and I was like, excuse me? Like, I was like, what? He's like, yeah, well, what, do you think I'm bringing you on a trip and we're not going to have sex? I was like, yeah, you, first of all, you begged me to come on this trip multiple times. I didn't even want to come. And no, I'm like, anybody could fly me out to Miami. You think this is the first trip that people fly me out to Miami? Like, you think I owe you sex because you took me on this trip? Like, absolutely not. And he was like, wow, like, you know, I could have brought any other girl. I'm like, okay, well, you should have brought another girl because you're not getting sex from me. And now, absolutely not. Like, now I'm completely turned off. Now I hate you. Like, I can't wait to go home.
We've even spoken about that on the podcast. Is like, guys don't realize that when you're pushy and you're asking for sex, you normally will never get sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to like. I feel like if someone's
smooth
not
about
pushy and they're all like, it's up to you, like you're going with the flow, you're just enjoying it. It's like, you'll probably want to fuck them. Yeah. Because you're just like, you're feeling like it's not an exchange.
Yeah.
You're feeling like you're getting to know someone and you actually like vibe with them and you want to.
Yeah.
100%.
Versus like being forced to.
Yeah. I was like, absolutely, like, I did not. And then when we got back to Montreal, he was like, let's hang out again. Let's go on another trip. And I was like, no. Like,
how do you,
and I was
differentiate
respectful.
the people that are like that and then the people who just want to have good vibes?
I feel like when you
when they have an assistant, you know what's up.
if they have an assistant, just go.
Yeah.
You're good.
I think it has to do personally with how much money you have, because
Yeah. Like that guy was like not that rich.
He
Like
was probably
he
a
had money,
nouveau
but he
riche
wasn't
that thought, like money
Yeah.
will get him sex.
Well, it's like when you don't have that much money, like you really want the bang for your buck. You're like, if
Yeah.
I'm spending money on this girl, like she better fuck me.
Yeah.
If you have so much money that you don't care, you just want to be like around good vibes, you don't care. Like
Yeah. You do
it's like
not care.
going on that yacht for like
It's a
10 G's
champagne
is like
bottle.
literally like
a
here's
spec.
$5. Like
Yeah, I think like people who have so much money, they're not seeing you as like, and they're not like investing in you
Yeah.
for sex. They're just like, I just want to have a good
Yeah.
time, and I know this girl's fun, so hopefully she'll make it fun for this weekend, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm flying her down, because I don't give a motherfuck about that $1,000 flight, you
Yeah,
know.
100%.
And that's like the vibes that you want to go for,
Yeah.
because obviously, yeah, you can have a good time, you could sleep with people, you could be a slut, like who cares?
Who
But
cares,
like
yeah.
if somebody's like trying to, and that's not what you want to do, like you
Yeah.
have to find the right people to be around. And obviously nobody really wants to be around people that are like, I
Yeah.
flew you out, take off the panties.
Yeah,
You know what I
like,
mean?
no.
Like it's just like, okay, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
And I feel like you could tell, like when people talk to you, like you could tell if they're like, I don't know. And if you can't tell, and like they'll make it clear, and if they don't, and you get there and they're like, hey, like we have to fuck, like I said in that situation, I was like, no, like nowhere did I tell you I was fucking you for this trip. Like you invited me.
So
With
like
no
what are
expectation.
some signs? So we said pushy is definitely one. Like if somebody's like pushing you to go on a trip and they're very like what's the word? Persistent, persuasive.
Two good P words.
Those are all points. What else would
Yeah.
I
we
wouldn't
say?
say that's like a red flag. Like some people just want you to come.
Yeah, 'cause
Like that guy was so persistent. I'm like, how could you even dare ask me? Like you
Yeah.
were begging me to come
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Like that's what sometimes I don't get. It's like, bro, it's actually so much cheaper for you just to buy an escort when you're actually in Miami.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I don't get it.
Absolutely.
But you know what I
Because normal
realized?
But they don't want to
don't
buy
have- they don't
escorts.
wanna-
They want a real girl. They want to know that
yeah.
they won me over. You know.
You know what
Yeah.
people like the buying you. I also realized that like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but tell me if you guys agree, girls take a lot of girls trips, but guys don't necessarily like to take a trip with the boys. Guys like to go on a trip where they're surrounded by girls. Girls have no problem going on a trip, just the girls. Girls trips happen all the fucking time.
Yeah.
But guys never want to be three bros together on a trip. It's like there always has to be girls involved. There always has to be like people around. And that's why I think there's that whole flying out like vibe, because people like guys, they want to go on trips, but they want girls to come with them. They don't want to be with just their boys. You know what I mean?
Whereas girls don't mind being just the girls.
Girls
Yeah.
don't mind. Girls will go on girls trips all the time, but I feel like
Yeah.
guys don't really enjoy their time together, especially like when they're single, just being the boys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I see a lot of guys who don't even have money are willing to pay girls trips to just come with them to just have a good time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'll never forget. I think it was like that short period where I was like, let me see if I could work in a club. And I remember Tanya was working at another club, and she was like, Alessia, it's
Up
Halloween
club.
weekend. Let's go to Miami. I think we're talking about the same billionaire.
From the first guy. Yeah.
The first guy. She was like, Aled, they're so chill. Like we would go, we'd have an amazing weekend. Let's go. And I was like, you know what? I've never done this before. Tanya knows them.
I think
And
I
so-
pulled my line on you too.
Absolutely.
I pulled my Chuck Bass line.
Absolutely.
You have to say yes to everything.
If you meet Tanya in a grocery store and she comes up to you and says you have to say yes, you heard it here first.
Thanks, Chuck Bass.
And I remember I was like, okay, you know what? I think it's also, you also feel a lot more comfortable when you know like your girlfriend has already like met them. They're like normal. I feel like it's really nice when someone's like investigate. Like when you have the scanner.
When they did the sketch part.
When they did the sketch
Why am I
part,
always
you know?
the one
When
doing
they
all the
put their
sketch
Life on the
parts?
line.
When
But
they
I feel like I have that attitude.
you didn't get kidnapped. They didn't force you to have sex. You had a good
all
time.
your organs. We're good. Let's go.
But I feel like I
Amazing.
have the
They didn't ask you to
attitude that
shit?
if they ask me for my organs, you're not getting them.
They're going, babe, chloroform.
Wait, Ella, was that your first trip that a
That
guy
was
ever
my,
paid for?
you were like, yeah, that was the first trip, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I want to get into, I feel like a lot of people are like, Tanya, you don't give a fuck. You do what you want and you don't care. And I want to talk about how do you get there? Like, just like not giving a fuck. Because I feel like I'm like you. Like, if I meet someone and I want to go on a trip and like I'm vibing with them, I'll go. but I still do care about like what people have to say about me.
Yeah.
So how do you get to where you're at?
Like not giving a fuck
Not
what people
giving a
say, because
fuck.
everybody thinks I'm an escort, I'm this, I'm
Yeah.
that. Like there's so many rumors about me. For me, I think it's just like, again, it ties into my whole like childhood and my that like
Deep.
toxic ex and stuff, and then I just really figured out who I was, and I think I'm very open about who I am. So like I'll literally, like, I was dating a guy who was married, and like I went home and my grandmother's like, oh, who's your boyfriend? I'm like, oh, he's married. Like, I'm very open. Like, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna like tell my nana that I'm dating a nice Italian boy just to like look proper. Like, I don't care. Like, I am who I am, and take it or leave it. And I think that's why I don't give a fuck what people say about me, because you could say that I'm an escort and you could say that I'm all these things, but in the end, like, I know who I am. And if you want to come up to me and ask me, like, I will tell you straight up what I did and didn't do.
And I think that's why people don't get a reaction out of you, because it's
Yeah,
like they're
like,
trying
I
to
don't
call you all these things, and then like you're actually there like,
And then it's like,
I
show
don't
me.
care. Like, this is who I am. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you want to fight someone who's accepted who
Yeah.
they are, in a sense?
And then it's
like,
also like, I have people saying like, oh my gosh, she's a whore, she's fucked. Really? Like, did you have sex with me? Did any of your friends have sex with me? No. Cool. Like, so bring me the proof and show me that I'm
like,
these
baby,
things that you're
it doesn't
saying.
make me a whore that I'm a jet setter. I'm a jet setter because I'm not a whore.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think people just like to hate on somebody doing
Yeah.
something that they feel
And you know
like
what
they
the thing
can't
is?
do.
Yeah.
The stigma is,
And the thing is
normally when you're a whore, you're not a jet setter. That's just the difference.
Yeah, because people get it too
You didn't even
easy.
get to the flying part because you're already fucking people and they don't care to take you anywhere. So that's the whole misconception.
So my advice to everybody out there
Before you
is
start
just
pouring.
like, honestly, live your truth, and like just be who you are. If you want to do something in your heart and you're sitting at home and you're like, I wish I could do that, there's nothing stopping you except yourself. So if you want to do that, just do it. And who cares what people say about you? Because you know what? When you're dead, nobody's going to remember anyways.
Interesting. Deep.
Okay.
I
Tanya,
feel like that
your friends want to go on a trip next week because
Who wants to go on a trip?
I feel like though you do get like probably you're one of the people that I know that gets like the most hated on for like no reason. And sometimes I feel like people even come up to me and think like they could just hate on you with me, and I'm like, excuse me, like,
Wait,
who are
what?
you? Like, no, I feel like people will
I feel
often
like you
be
get secondhand hate from me.
what?
Remember that girl in the club? And she was like, oh, that's like the whore's sister or something.
Oh yeah, I always get
Oh, by the way,
secondhand hate. I
she
always
is
get-
actually like the biggest whore. That
Oh,
girl
by the
who
way, I
said
just want
Me?
to clarify.
that. No, the girl who said that.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
The girl who said that was sleeping around with like everybody in Montreal, and then she has the balls to call
You know
me and
what-
my
you
poor
know what's
sister.
so fucked up?
Okay, let's
I
not
think
call
it's-
people whores.
No, but I'm just
Like, it's not like we don't care if you sleep around.
No,
It's
we
totally
don't,
okay.
we don't.
But like, don't come tell me that I'm sleeping with the whole city when you're actually sleeping with the whole city.
Yeah,
Because I'm not judging you for it. I don't care.
but I will say that I think like a lot of people hate on you and like will automatically
Well, they hate
like,
because
think
they're
you're
jealous.
a bitch. Yeah, like people will automatically think you're a bitch or think you're this or like start rumors about what you're doing, and like sometimes I'll hear shit and I'll just be like, what? Like that's not even true. Like what are you even saying? And like the craziest thing is like sometimes it's even people like our family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh
Like
my
it's
God, our
like,
family's the
like you wouldn't
biggest.
even like believe the shit that I've heard, and honestly half the time like I won't even go to the point of like trying to defend you because I'm just like, this is so like
Yeah.
the fact that you even think this is so stupid, like
Yeah.
like go on. And I think if that's anything that I've learned from you, like when people tell me something, I never try to prove them wrong. I'm always just like, okay, like if that's what you believe, like sure.
100%. Because if you start trying to prove them like this, like I have nothing
that's
to
how
prove.
you look like a liar.
Yeah.
100%.
Like
When
I
you're
don't have
fighting
anything
so
to prove.
hard, yeah.
Like I said, I know who I am. If you want to think that about me, do that on your own. Like obviously we're not going to vibe. Obviously like you're not open-minded enough to even like hang out with me, like because if you want to say those things, like if you want to say things about me and not even ask me if it's true or not, then like you do you.
Why do you think that a lot of people have like the wrong idea of you and like kind of predetermined? Because I think there's certain people in this world that like people just hate for no reason.
Yeah.
And I feel like you kind of get that. Like you always get like a lot of people who don't even know, never even met you in their life, and they're like, yeah, I don't like her for like no reason.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Can I give an
An opinion?
opinion?
A theory?
I feel like it's one reason I feel like a lot of people, it's because they want to know things about her and they don't. And when people feel like they don't know or they're not getting what they want, they'll start making up stories because it's like, how do I get a reaction out of her?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
What, do you have an idea of why it is?
Also, like, I guess, like, jealousy is, like, a big part. Like, obviously, like, people want to be on those trips and people want to be doing
like you also.
Look like me, be getting what?
So
wow.
Oh my god.
I mean,
look
like
you also.
I mean, I know I'm not, like, a bad looking girl and I really do take care of my appearance. But, like, yeah, ever since I was young, like, even my closest friends, one of my best friends when I was younger, like, we would, you know, people always start off in the same place as you and, like, you know, we're in the same spot, so it's all love. And then as soon as you start doing a little better, or like I got like boobs and like she didn't, and then all of a sudden she was like hitting on me all the time. She'd like gang up on me with you, actually. She'd go see my sister and be like, oh my god, Tanya's like so fat now. Oh my god, she's gonna, remember she used to call me fat because I had boobs?
No, I don't remember that.
And I wasn't fat, I was skinny, but I just had like small little boobs and she had none. And then she'd be like, you can't borrow my shirt because you're gonna stretch it out, or like some like,
I just remember being like so mean, and she would be like, you can't come because like this guy that I like is gonna be there, and like I don't want him to see you, and then he's gonna like you more, so you can't come.
But it's like,
if what the fuck, imagine your friend told you that.
Yeah. And like if that happens, like if the guy likes me more, then why would you even want to be with that guy?
Yeah.
That's where I don't understand. So many times, like, I get hated on when, like, you should be hating on that guy that you're going after that's just gonna pick your friend over you. If he really likes you, he would still choose you whether or not I have boobs or not. Like, you know?
Right. But I feel like people are just insecure. And
she was like a very insecure girl. And this is where I realized, like, don't give your energy to people if they don't deserve it. So, like, this was my friend for so long, and she was a very, very insecure. And I would literally, she would sleep over every night, and I would spend my nights talking to her. You're pretty, like, don't worry, you're enough, like this, just do this. And she'd like tell me all her problems, and I would help her with all her problems. And then the next day she'd be like calling me fat and telling me, like, bullying me basically. 100%. And then I would just spend my nights and days trying to help her get better while she would bully me. And then that's when I realized, after like being in this that's another toxic relationship I had, I guess. It's not always with men. So like being in that friendship for so long, after a while I realized, you know what, like, what's the point of this? I'm giving this girl, like, she's literally taking all my energy day in and day out. All I'm doing is giving her my time and energy, and all I'm getting out of it is being bullied in return. And even at that point, I didn't care what she said, because I looked in the mirror and like I didn't think I was fat. Like, I knew that she was coming from an insecure place.
I think that's,
but that's very mature of you, because I feel like a lot of people would take it as in like, oh my god, am I fat? Oh,
if somebody would call me fat, I would admit, like, I would have, if I had a friend like that, I would come out of it the most insecure person. Like,
I don't know why, for me, and I'm talking about like I was young. This was like I was like 14, 15,
well,
16.
It's because it's a thing. Like, if people are talking to you, talking shit about you or whatever, it's just it's their character acting. It's something within themselves. So whenever someone's saying something or bullying you, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the 100%. Person and what they're going through.
But it takes a lot.
When you could see that, you start to like not care what someone says, and you start to actually feel bad. It's kind of
I would feel bad, and that's the thing. But it's strange, because I did come to this weird understanding at a very young age that people usually act out of insecurity. And I think it's in part like our mom used to tell us a lot, like, oh, they're just jealous, or like, and she like really instilled that in me. So from a really young age, I was like, okay, this
she would
girl,
say they're just jealous, but she would always like warn us and be
like people
you guys are like so beautiful. And like my mom's super, like, if I have the confidence I have to say, it's because of her. Like she would really be like, you guys are so beautiful, like flaunt, like my mom would be like, flaunt it, if you have it, flaunt it. And like, but just beware, there's always gonna be people that are not gonna like that you're doing that, so just know that, you know. So I feel like that's,
but she was always like, be yourself and stuff. So for me, it was always like I knew like this girl was coming from a place that's insecure, and the things that she was telling me, she was just projecting her own insecurities, because like she didn't want me to stretch her shirt just because I had boobs and she didn't. And she would cry about not having boobs, like, so you know.
I also think that when somebody gets a lot of hate, it's easier for you to take it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like if you're so used to somebody hating on you, at a certain point, you almost like block it out. Whereas if when somebody's always loving you, like you're getting a lot of love and a lot of appreciation.
And then as soon as one person doesn't like you, it's like, oh my God.
Something, you're like, oh my God, like what did I do to earn this?
That's super true. And I was bullied when I was younger. I was like always bullied as a kid.
But I think, and this has always been my theory.
Is that why you bullied your sister after? It's like a chain reaction.
I think my theory, and this has always been my theory, is I think that there's like two types of like being like good lookingness, like
Mm-hmm.
looks. I think you could be like friendly good looking, where people see you and be like, that's an achievable amount of attractiveness that I could possibly achieve if I did my hair right, if I did my makeup right. And then I think there's like another level of beauty where people look at you and say, I could literally never be that person, and I'm so jealous that I can actually never be you, so I'm gonna
But
hate you instead.
I don't think that I'm like that. Like,
Well,
yeah,
I'm just saying, I think people look at you and they're so intimidated because they feel like your beauty is unachievable. Like nothing that they can do they'll
I don't
feel as good as you
I
look.
feel like I've seen girls that, like, obviously there's always a prettier girl, and I've seen girls that are prettier than me hating on me, you know? Like, I don't think that's what it is.
But it's coming out of insecurity. I'm just saying, like, I think there's like a certain level, like, that where people start to see you as intimidating.
I know what you're saying.
I get what you're
I think
saying.
there's like people like to surround themselves with good looking people when they feel like they could, when it makes their image look better. But then when they feel like you look way better than them and they can never be you, then suddenly they actually start hating on you, and then they try to tear you down because they feel like they can never be you.
I also think it comes down to attitude as well. So I'm the kind of person, like, I walk in the room and I'm confident, and I walk in and I'm like, I know I look
way
good.
more than looks.
Yeah, I think it's the way I carry myself, and that people see. It's not only about the fact that anybody could look good. Like you said, do your hair.
There's so many people that are stunning that are insecure.
I think people are more jealous of the fact, like you said, that I could walk in a room and not care what anybody's saying about me, and just know, like, I'm happy with myself. I'm walking in, I'm confident. I know I could get whatever I want if I want it.
And people hate
that. And I'll take the trip I want to take if I want to take it. And that,
because
I think that's what people
they wish
hate.
that they could be
They
that.
wish they could walk into a room and be that confident. They could be way prettier than me and walk into a room and still be hating on me and feel insecure. Not because I'm prettier than them, because I'm not, but just because I carry myself like I know that I look good, and I know that I could have what I want if I want it.
100%.
Yeah.
I want it, I got it. I saw this thing that said, like, there's 3 reasons why people hate you, like why people feel hate towards something. And I can't think of the 2 other ones right now, but I will tell you the one that applies to this situation. And it was, people will often hate on things. Like, people will make these like invisible rules of how they feel people should live their lives based on what they were taught, based on what they feel is right. So when people see you doing something that feels like goes against their rules, their person of rules of what's right, for example, like going on trips, working in clubs, getting shit paid for you, like they feel like, I could never do that. That's my rule. Like, that's wrong to do. When they see somebody doing it and doing it like unapologetically, that really grinds somebody's gears, because they're like, you're going against the rules that I feel like I've set for myself. Because it's really a thing where they feel like, I can never get over this rule that I've set, but I'm watching you freely, happily doing it. And I can never be that because I've set this rule for myself, which I think is interesting. Because if you think about it, we set a lot of rules for people, and in some ways it'll be ethical rules, like we'll be like, somebody who's a good person shouldn't deserve to have all these, like somebody who's a bad person shouldn't deserve to have like all these opportunities because you're a bad person. That goes against the rules.
But that's not how life works.
But that's what I'm saying. So like that's just like a really like easy example to say, like, we look at somebody who's done really bad things and then see them be so successful and then be like, that shouldn't be allowed. But then it is, you know, even though it's a fucked up situation to say, it's like, it's going against our rules of life. You think being a good person, good things come to you, but that's not what it is.
I also want to touch on, when I think about like my friends and who I surround myself with, I don't think any one of my friends I hang out with is not beautiful. And I'm not saying that that's like shady to say, but all my friends are stunning and they also happen to be good people. But I'm just saying, when you surround yourself with a group of, like, for me, that I have friends who I think are all beautiful, like, yeah, you're going to walk into a room and you're going to be interested in a guy and he might be interested in your friend finally. But I feel like it also makes you grow up sooner, and you're like, okay, well, if that guy is interested in my friend, why would I want him anyways? Absolutely. You know? So it's like, I almost feel like hanging around with people who are like beautiful makes you value yourself in a way where it's like, when a guy chooses you, or he chooses the, like, that's somebody I want to speak to, or I like her personality, or she's super dope. I feel like there's so much more to it.
Because I think it's more of like an even playing field is what you're saying.
Yes.
Like, not everybody is like pinning against each other, or like there's not that like one.
Like, we should stop looking at it like I want to go and meet a guy, but I don't want to bring my hot friend.
Yeah.
Like
that
Tanya
I find
was
is kind of
saying.
fucked up though.
Yeah,
Low-key,
because like people
that
also don't
but
just
a
go
lot
for
of
you because
people
you're
think
like
that way.
and a lot of people will
100%.
never even admit to themselves that they think that way. And I know a lot of people that are like, even unconsciously, they just won't invite you around. And it's like, bitch, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Didn't happen to me personally, but I'm just saying.
But you want to have your hottest friend there so that if he chooses you, you're fucking like, I'm in. Like,
But it's also just
I feel like we
if
had
you
a similar
value-
situation to
yeah,
this.
I was gonna say, I was like, can we get into it?
So we were in LA, and Alessia, she spoke about it on the last
Yes.
podcast, that she went there to like meet this guy she was trying to meet up with in Miami and stuff. And it was cool the first day, and then the second day we went to the pool, and he started getting like a little bit weird. I guess he was like offended about something she had done.
I didn't want to sleep with him.
Yeah, literally.
So I meet this guy, and I'm just like, hey, Tanya, like, I don't want to go alone. Let's meet him.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I'm supposed to meet him. Let's go. So we go to the party, and, you know, he's talking to both of us, whatever. He's like chill. He's a vibe.
Yeah.
And everything's fine. And then, like, Tanya later wants to go out, and I'm pinching Tanya. Like, I want to go with her. But now I met this guy, and now he wants to do, like, an after party at the house. So Tanya decides to go out, and then I end up going back with him to the whole party,
Which is the respectful good thing to do. Yeah.
thing, because I spent the whole night, like, he
yeah.
brought us everywhere. I was like, you know, I can't just dip, but Tanya could, because she's not tied down. So I go back, and then, like, we're just like getting to know each other, but like there's also a lot of people there that he doesn't know, so he's also having to mingle, and I'm there like having to mingle with a lot of people I don't know, and I'm ready, like, I'm comfortable, but as comfortable as someone could be when they don't know anyone in a room. Like, yeah, it's all fun and games. Yeah, I could hold a conversation. I can act and play all I want, but I just want my friends. I want to be comfortable, and I wanted to leave. And at this point, he thought I was going to crash because there was other rooms there. And I was just like, I already said in my head, like, I'm not crashing there. Like, I want to go back to the hotel. I don't feel comfortable. I want to leave. I socialized for enough. Like, I want to leave now. So I ended up saying to him, like, I don't want to, well, it's because I never fully said I was going to sleep over. He said, bring a bathing suit. So I brought a bag. So I was like, maybe I'll crash there. Maybe I won't. And then I decided as the night was going on, I wasn't going to. And I was like, I'm going to go back. So I ended up leaving. And then the next day we're at the pool, and I bring Tanya. And now I feel like he's like hitting on Tanya too.
No, he was hitting on me. And then I'm super uncomfortable
But I'm uncomfortable too, because I'm like,
because she's like, hey, wait, like, she's sitting there like looking at him, and in front of her he's like going out of his way, like hitting on me, making comments to me, telling me like, come in the pool, like carried me into the pool at one point, and I was like, put me down, like, I'm like, it's okay, like, put me down.
But like, do you feel like he was just doing that because he was pissed?
Well, so we didn't know at the beginning, so I'm feeling really uncomfortable, because obviously you don't want to be that girl who, you don't want to be in that position where the guy that your friend is going for after that is going for you, because like I said, I get a lot of hate, and I don't want my closest friends to be upset with me because I'm like stealing her man or something. So I'm kind of like like looking at him,
looking at Tanya, and I'm like,
we're looking at each other, and I'm kind of like,
but you know what though? That shows like the solid like friendship, and just like knowing and not being like oblivious. Because I feel like a lot of people in that situation, if they were down for a guy, they'd be like, fuck her, like, all this shit, you know, and then they would just like exclude themselves, not invite Tanya anywhere, and just like, I'll be with him, and I'll just like fuck off.
Or anybody else in my situation maybe was down for the guy and would have like actually went for him, because I know girls like that too.
I know,
and like,
I'm be like, he wanted me instead.
He
like,
did that because,
and
I'm just like, oh, so he picked me, like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
So I'm like, I don't want to be in this position. Like, this makes me so uncomfortable. So then,
and me uncomfortable.
So we're both feeling like really fucking weird. And then at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna leave. Like, I have other things to do. Give you guys some alone time. And he was like mad at me that I'm leaving.
At this point, I'm like, I don't even.
Like,
he doesn't even respect me. Like, I don't want the alone time. So I'm just like, Tanya's leaving. I don't want her to leave.
But then he got mad at me because I wanted to leave. It was so weird.
And that's then one thing about like people who like feel like they. And the thing is, he never paid for our trip. He didn't fly anybody down. He didn't do anything. So honestly, we don't owe him anything. But could you imagine though, in this case, like, he paid for everything, and then, you owe your time.
He's
you owe
already
your everything.
acting
You
like we
always
owe him, that
something.
we have to stay with
Yeah.
him attached to his hip, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, you didn't do anything for us, honey. Like, we
100%.
could do what we want.
Yeah,
Like,
free
Alessia's
in this
being nice right
situation.
now.
literally.
So then I leave, and he walks me out, and he's like, then when he walks me out, he starts talking to me, and he's like, you know, your friend last night, it was a bit weird, like she left. So he starts kind of like shit talking her to me, and then at this point I start to realize, okay, like he's just hitting on me because he's mad at her for like not sleeping with him last
but
night.
still unacceptable.
Super unacceptable. And then you spoke to him, and you were like, listen. She was like, listen, like if you want my friend, go ahead. Like you're acting weird, you're flirting with my friend. If you're down for her, like go for her.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
Yeah.
why would I be interested in somebody
exactly,
who
because you
wants,
shouldn't be.
like,
If a guy
for me,
doesn't
it's
want
like,
you for you,
maybe the
then
old me would be like, oh my god, like I wish I got him. Now it's like, if you're showing me who you are right away at
Yeah.
the beginning,
and if you don't want
nobody
me, like,
wants you, not me, not my friend. Like,
Yeah.
we're older
and if
now.
he doesn't want you, then why would you want to
would I
waste your
want
time
him?
with him?
Why
Why are you
would I
gonna try to
want him?
force him to want you? You
Yeah.
already know like he's not down for you, so move on. But like he is
100%.
really down for her.
no,
It
but
turns
it's
out
just,
he was just mad.
I just can't. It's just
So-
It was fucked up.
disgusting.
Speaking of LA, minus this debacle, the debauchery. I don't know what the fuck the word is. I just wanted to briefly get into. We spoke a lot about who you were way back when you were 17.
Yeah.
Now I feel like you're mature. You're still jet setting.
I don't know if mature is the
What's
right
your new
word.
vibes? You just came back from 10 months in LA. Like, what's the vibes? What have you
She's
been
like, I'm
up
going
to?
back on Monday with you. What do you mean?
We're going back, aren't we? I think I need to take a break from LA for a bit. I feel like I'm getting too
What did you
Caught
do?
up in the scene.
I'm too in the scene now.
Well,
I think people need a break from me.
What have you done? Let us know.
I don't know where to start. I mean, I was in LA in January. I got a surgery done in LA. My sister came with me.
When I got
we're
stopped at the airport.
Well, we're open on this podcast, so tell everyone the surgery.
I mean, my YouTube video on the surgery is coming out soon. Stay tuned.
So do you want to talk about? So yeah, so you were saying you get a lot of hate as well on like surgery and like what you've done, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, she's only pretty because she's fake. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think I'm only pretty because I'm fake, but I'm definitely fake.
Yeah, I don't know
and
why I
I'm-
accused you of that.
Yeah,
like, I'm so sorry, but like I just meant like talk about your
I
surgery.
definitely got I got not a lot, but I got some surgery done, and I'm not shy to say it. Like I said, I'm open. I don't care. You could ask me about it.
I feel like all the things you did as well, they were already nice before. So
Yeah,
I feel
most
like,
of the stuff that I got done was already like nice and like didn't really have to be done, but I like to, you know, a little bit of perfection. I also I'm just like really interested in surgery, so I feel like sometimes I get stuff done just to know what it's like and what it's about and do the whole research behind it. Like it really just like it's like a whole process for me. Like I really researched my doctors for a long time, and it's just like an interesting thing.
and you also really like girls with surgery too.
Yeah,
like that's
I'm
like your
attracted to
style.
like surgery, and like I'm attracted to the whole thing of it. Like when I get a surgery done, like I really look into like what's the surgery and like how is it done, and like I'm that one asking my doctor like a million questions, and they're
I
like,
feel like
ma'am,
we
are
need
you
to go
doing
on
the
that
surgery
show.
or me? Like
Like,
and then I become best friends with my
So
They're like-
to this date, what have you got done?
all right,
Everyone's pulling out their notepads listening. They're like, yes, this is the moment we've been waiting for.
okay.
No, but the one thing I'll say is like a lot of, you know, famous people, Kardashians and stuff, the reason it's annoying is because they don't address what they do. So they
Yeah.
just set unrealistic
or
standards.
they lie and they say they
Like
didn't
just
do it.
straight up say this is what I do. So you make the normal average Joe not feel
Yeah.
as shitty and then go on with your life.
The funniest thing was I was watching Stassi's podcast.
Stassi is a podcast?
Stassi's interview and Call Her Daddy. And she's like, you know, like, I didn't get ass implants, but like, I moved some fat around. I was like,
But I'm
so
just like,
a BBL.
like, but why are they scared?
I rearranged some fat. Okay, so a Brazilian butt lift.
like,
you know? I don't know what it is, but
Yeah. So I rearranged some fat. What else? I got my nose done. I got a lip lift. What else did I do? I just got
surgery.
I got like a jaw surgery. I actually got a corrective jaw surgery done 3 years ago, and it got kind of messed up, so I had to like fix my jaw cosmetically. paid a lot of money
you
for
had
it.
an underbite.
Because I had an overbite, so they had to fix my overbite. But then when they fixed it, they like moved my bottom jaw. Maybe like it looked like it was too forward and out of place. Other people didn't really notice it, but for me, after seeing yourself one way for your whole life and then looking a different way, and like you didn't really want that change, it's kind of like you get into this identity crisis. Definitely watch my YouTube video because I talk a lot about it. But yeah, so I got a jaw surgery done to fix, like undo basically what was done, and like obviously it definitely looks better than my old jaw did too, though. Like let's be real here. I got an eyebrow lift at the same time because while I'm under, might as well just like do it all.
Goals.
You did your nose?
I said that with my nose.
Okay. I think that's it.
That's it. Like I have a bit like lip filler.
And what's your like view on surgery?
I think surgery is like completely fine if
it makes you more confident.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, if it makes you more confident, then by all means, absolutely do it. Just make sure that you research your doctor. Make sure that you're not just going with the cheapest alternative, because
that's what you can afford.
You do not want to have to redo a surgery, because first of all, you don't want to go through that whole recovery process 2 times. And also, once something's fucked up, it's a lot harder to fix it than just doing it right the first time. So there's like a saying that like cheap surgery is expensive and expensive surgery is cheap. Because if you do something wrong the first time, it also costs like double the price to redo it.
Yeah,
like a nose revision, the first time you do it is like maybe $10,000, and then when you want to do a revision, it's like $20,000.
Yeah.
Or even more now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
Do you feel like doing surgery almost made you more critical of yourself though? Like once you, like every time you do a surgery, you find something new to focus on to fix? Because I feel like
yeah,
you're
definitely. Like I don't think that's what it's about. So like I said, I'm just like really
perfectionist.
No, I'm not I'm like really interested in surgery, and I'm really interested in like how it's done and what it's done, and I kind of just want to experience the process of doing it.
Okay,
so,
well, we know what job career you need to go in.
Well,
so you don't have to switch your you don't need to switch your whole body around. You could get right into that.
I think
if you want a knife. Wait, if you're telling us that you're like a serial killer, like
I'm addicted to surgery.
Yeah, she's like, I fucking love surgery. Cutting open, I just want to know.
Yeah, if you want to know, there's some shows out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a murder. They're gonna use this podcast as evidence. Tanya Rossi, I don't know. She's like, you know what
though? It's okay if it gets our podcast.
The victim had a perfect slope.
Look how good look at Dr. Zaria.
But do you feel like sometimes, because I would say, I'm just gonna say my experience, I feel like sometimes you have a big insecurity and then you fix it, and then once you fix that, you start like realizing, okay, well now that more brain space has opened up, I can find new things to be insecure about.
Yeah, definitely. I find like for me, like I said, most of the things I fixed, like I wasn't really super insecure about them. They weren't things that like really needed to be fixed. Like I had a decent nose. I actually, like a lot of people said my nose was nice before I did it. I just like wanted.
Even your ass, you had the sickest ass before. That's why it annoys me so much when they're like, her ass is only nice because she got it done. I'm like, no. You didn't know Tanya before.
I still show people my old. I'm like, this is, trust me, like I had a booty.
Yeah,
100%.
So like I think the only surgery that like I really was insecure about when I did it, and that I was actually really insecure about doing it, and like I really, really, really wanted to do, was my jaw. And it's actually a crazy experience to know like these other surgeries I did that I didn't really need. Like I would do them and I'd be happy about it and whatever, but it wasn't a big deal for me. And like
my camera's still on. When
I did my jaw surgery, like now I know how people feel when they have like really bad noses and they fix them. Like I fixed it, and I swear, like,
you felt like yourself again.
Yeah, like I just felt like myself again, and I felt like I finally, like, I could stop focusing on this thing that, like, I was always thinking about how my jaw looked, and I would look at myself in the mirror and, like, not even recognize myself. So when I fixed it, I swear, like 2 weeks out, I was still really swollen. But for me, like I already saw the huge difference. And like I took a picture of like my before and after. Literally 2 weeks out, guys, I was swollen. And I sent it to my doctor. And I swear I was literally in tears. And I sent it to my doctor and I was like, you literally changed my life. Like, I'm so happy. And he's like, Tanya, like this is like 10% of your results. Like it's going to look way better. Like
he's like, Tanya, your jaw's bigger in this picture than
before. But I was literally in tears, guys, in my bed, like crying of like how happy I was that like I finally fixed that one thing that I was actually insecure about.
Yeah.
I think as inspirational as that beautiful story was, I think it's important for everyone to note that like sometimes if you don't like something, like fixing it isn't always the answer.
Yeah, some people fix things and then they're still gonna like.
I have
body
a question.
dysmorphia
It's
is
not
a real
only that,
thing.
but
Yeah.
it's just like sometimes you just have to like accept things about yourself, and like I think that's also takes a lot of growth. Is like accepting an insecurity and loving your insecurities, which I think low key, and I'm gonna call myself out. Like I think sometimes surgery is like the easy way to go because you can't like it overtakes you.
Yeah.
That's not how you say that, but whatever. It takes over you.
Yeah.
But I think like real strength is people who are able to like have something they really don't like and just be able to like accept that about themselves. I just want people to know, like, as pro surgery as I am, I don't think that you need to fix things about you.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that you can
when people
hate something and then learn to love it.
When people when people ask me like, should I do this? What should I do? I'm like, look, you don't have to do anything. Like
she has no problem telling me what I should do. So
okay, I'm just
but
like
you're her sister.
Yeah, but I'm the kind of person like
allowed.
if you want to do it, do it. If it's gonna make you happy, do it. Otherwise, like you don't need to do it. Like if it's gonna make you happy though, do it. Because so many times I see people like, yeah, you're saying like, yeah, fixing it, like just learning to accept it. But so many times like it's like sometimes it's like my jaw thing was like crippling for me. Like I'm not an insecure girl, but like I would think about my jaw. I would be out in public and be thinking about how my jaw looked.
Yeah, like it's not
like
normal to be having all those. Like,
yeah, so if it's like
really
really taking over your life and you're really insecure about it and you're just worried that people are gonna talk shit because you got surgery done, babe, do that surgery. Like if it's gonna make you really feel better about yourself, then do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but don't let it like overtake your brain where now like. Because it does get addicting and then you're going to want to start changing everything. Yes. So just like keep a level head on your shoulder.
Are you a believer that sometimes who you hang out with will entice you to like want to do something?
Yeah.
Even though it might not be something that you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I also think like...
Is there any surgeries you regret?
No, I don't regret any of my surgeries.
Okay. Perfect.
I think, but I did put a lot of thought into like choosing a surgeon, guys. It's really important. But yeah, like I do have people that will come to me and I'll tell people also like, you don't need to do that. And I'm honest about it. Like I'll tell you, like if you're going to really ask me, I'll always say like, look, like this is my opinion. And like, you're coming to me and asking me. So I'll tell you like, yeah, you could fix this, you could fix this. But like, and then you're going to tell me like, should I do this? Like my friend asked me, oh, I think I want to get cheek filler. I'm like, babe, like you do not need cheek filler.
Yeah.
I think what's important to like remember and something that's like not often talked about because like plastic surgery really has come to a point where it's super normalized is that like at the end of the day, like surgery is dangerous and a lot of people do die and have severe complications, especially with BBLs. BBLs is one of the most dangerous plastic surgeries that you can get, especially a lot of girls going to do them in like unsafe places,
or even guys, Miami's like the worst place you could do a BBL.
Not even I'm just saying like even just like getting a proper surgery, it's a very, very risky, very dangerous surgery. So I just want to say, as much as I believe if something like if you hate something and it really affects you, like change it, do what you want, like live your best. I just also live with like the idea that like just remember that surgery is something that risks your life at the end of the day, and like that's something we're often like not conscious of. Is like is this insecurity worth your life? Absolutely. And I'm not even saying that I'm against plastic surgery, just that you know. Sometimes you have to think of it that way.
Yeah. So both our cameras actually died because this is the longest podcast we've ever done. Tanya, you have hit a fucking record for us.
I'm the only one on the screen anymore.
An hour and 42
Wait,
minutes.
mine's still alive.
And you are the last one standing.
Oh, we're the last two standing. The sisters made it.
Thank
you so much, guys, for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can find my sister on Instagram at Tanya Rossi, TAROSSII.
If you would like to have Tanya back on or you have any questions, DM her. She answers all DMs except if they come from a no user. If you have a goddamn question, please use your actual account.
Okay, Alessia's like exaggerating here. I sometimes like don't see all my DMs, but just DM me a second time and then hopefully I see it.
DM me a second time. How many followers do you have?
Yeah, shut up.
Well, sometimes they get lost, I swear.
Okay, love you
or
guys.
Sometimes I have ADD, so I forget, you know. Love you, bye.